It's your chance to meet our elite team of certified storm chasers. These are the guys who are going to go all out. In fact, they're going to be chasing the storms across the state. You can follow them and report back to us, or we'll follow them, and then they'll report back to us on what they're seeing. For instance, here's an amazing video. This was sent back during severe thunderstorms that raced across green country just last Thursday. So think of our storm chasers as our eyes and ears on the storm during this severe weather. It was supposed to be there, but that's all right. Joining us via Skype is 2 News Storm Shield meteorologist and storm chaser George Flickinger. Hello, George. How you doing?
Hello, sir. It's a little past my bedtime, but I thought I'd stay up here late and talk a little severe weather and storm chasing with you.
Well, we certainly do appreciate it. Thanks for joining us this evening. I think it's going to be a lively discussion, really. I think we're going to have a lot of fun here. All right, so we want you to meet our storm chasers that have joined us tonight. We've got right here Denny Bryson. And Denny, you're from Shakota, right?
Right.
David Williams, school teacher extraordinaire and storm chaser. And David, you live here in Tulsa?
That is correct.
And Derek Massengale. Derek has a hot air balloon business and on top of chasing storms, so you ought to know a lot about hot air, right? Rising currents.
I'm full of it, yeah.
You've got them up there, that is for sure. Okay, so tonight, during tonight's webcast, you can send us your questions about storm chasing through social media, and questions are already pouring in through Twitter and Facebook. So if you want to ask a question, just tweet us using the hashtag 2weather, or you can go to our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/KJRHTV. 2 News Storm Shield meteorologist Brittany Rainey, she's in the Weather Center, and she's going to be going through your questions. So, Brittany, let's go over to you. Any good questions coming in so far?
Yeah, we've had a lot of great questions so far. We have about 5 on our Facebook page, so I'll read you the first one. Aaron Goodwin would like to know if law enforcement tends to overlook fast driving during storm chasing during a big storm, and he doesn't mean to suggest that it's a free pass to speed or anything. He just wants to know if storm chasers are often in a hurry to get to a particular space to collect data, if the officers are a little bit more lenient, or if that's not what you guys have run into.
All right, that's a good place to start. So you guys are out there, you see a storm. Obviously, what happens? I mean, can you push the limits a little bit on the speed limit if they know you're chasing a storm?
Yeah, you can just a little bit. Some towns, no, you can't. Been told many times in several towns that they will stop storm chasers quicker than they'd stop anybody else for speeding.
Right.
So,
anybody have an experience where you've been stopped and given a warning or anything like that?
Yeah, I've been stopped a couple times.
You have?
They more want to know what we're doing.
Yeah.
If we're, seeing anything, so they can warn the public from their aspect of it. But I have been. That was the initial intent. Was, hey, you need to slow down a little bit. And it's not a free pass. In fact, that's what gets most of the people that are not real storm chasers, that are just out there just to go chase, is that they actually create more of a headache for us in that aspect, because they do exceed the speed limit, because they don't know that the storm is actually going to track in a way that we do, and sometimes we don't have to just rush right to the through a city or whatever. We know better, and so we are, most of us are real cautious, I think, we don't want the bad name. We've got, Channel 2's name on our trucks and on our shirts and everything. And, we don't want you to get the call that those two
you're a storm chaser
chasers are running through. Yeah. So
speaking of that, George Flickinger, you drive Storm Chaser 2. Yeah. You get any little gray area thanks to that? Or
I do have some stories for you, but as y'all were mentioning, Storm Chaser 2 is basically a rolling billboard with all these Channel 2 signs on it. So you have to be careful, and believe me, if you're going over the speed limit, reckless driving, then there's always somebody out there who wants to report it to you, who wants to report it. So we can't be doing things like that. But I do have a story for you. This occurred when I was storm chasing up in northern Kansas near the Nebraska border. So basically, almost in the middle of nowhere, out in the middle of the country.
You're almost in Canada, George.
There weren't many storm chasers that were out that day, and my friend and I were just kind of sitting there on the side of the dirt road, and we're filming a storm. Wasn't producing a tornado yet, but we were watching it in case it did produce a tornado. Sheriff's officer pulls up behind us, and he gets out, and he actually had almost no experience storm chasing, and he wanted to learn more about storm chasing, and so he asked if he could follow us, and he basically said we could drive, do whatever we needed to do to get to the storm, and it would be okay, and he would follow us. And so it actually ended up looking like a Dukes of Hazzard chase scene. I mean, we weren't doing anything wild and crazy, but
Right.
you know, we're going like 50 miles an hour down the dirt road, and he's right there behind us with his flashing lights on.
Nice.
So yeah, so it looked like a high-speed chase, you know, as we're going through all these dirt roads and such. But yeah, when we would get out and stop, we would show him exactly what we were looking at, so that he could be a better storm spotter. So it benefited both of us.
All right, let's bring this back to how you guys all got started storm chasing. I mean, it's dangerous. We know that. We know that you practice safety. But Derek, what made you want to go out and chase the first storm?
Actually, it was I started off with Channel 2 27 years ago.
Is that right? So welcome on.
I did, yes. I actually fly hot air balloons, as you mentioned, and I started to give rides. And so I actually gave one of the retired meteorologists from Channel 2, I gave his parents a balloon ride. And when we were doing the pre-flight briefing, he said, you know, you actually have to do a lot of weather stuff. Have you ever thought about storm chasing with your knowledge? And I'm like, I didn't even think about it at that time. And he took me on a storm chase, and as they say, the rest is history. And that was
Wow.
27 years ago.
All right, David,
This year.
how'd you get started?
I started just out of pure interest and curiosity. Ever since I was a kid, I was really interested in storms, and so basically I was essentially self-taught. I didn't go to school for meteorology, so just started slowly learning as much as I could, reading forums, getting involved in groups and things like that of other storm chasers with more experience, and then slowly but surely accumulating road time and seeing storms. But I really started just with kind of a perspective of going out there and just sort of seeing nature, not too intent on going out there and just seeing tornadoes or anything like that, just sort of general storm chaser, but then it escalated from there.
All right, and Denny, how did you get started?
Uh,
On a dare? On a bet?
No. I actually enjoy the weather and all aspects of spring weather, storms, lightning, tornadoes, and everything. And I just wanted to be a part of helping people, you know, be protected with the warnings and get accurate warnings out to people.
I know during the winter time, you've told me several times, get rid of this warm or cold weather.
Yeah,
Get some springtime weather in here.
I cannot stand winter time.
He likes the thrill of the chase. Two new Storm Shield meteorologist George Flickinger gives us a look at how our elite team of storm chasers uses their combined decades of storm chasing experience and high-tech tools, and they're going to help keep you safe during severe weather.
This is a bird's eye view of Storm Chaser 2, loaded with all the storm chasing gear we need so that we can show you the storms. We have two computers back here. Both of these are actually hooked up to the internet. In fact, Storm Chaser 2, it's like its own rolling Wi-Fi hotspot. This computer is used to get video back to the television station, so when we're driving down the road, whatever we're seeing out of our front windshield, when you see it is exactly when we are seeing it. This second computer is a computer hooked up to the internet, and with this we can check the latest weather data. Now we're looking at the top. We're literally on the roof of Storm Chaser 2. With this weather equipment, we can measure the temperature and humidity of a particular storm. With this equipment, we can measure exactly how much rain is falling with an electronic rain gauge. We can also let you know exactly how strong the wind gusts are. The faster the wind cups, the stronger the storm. When our elite team of more than a half dozen certified storm chasers head out, they're also equipped with high-tech tools to monitor storms.
I can do storm tracks. I can see where the storms are going.
The camera mounted on Denny Bryson's dashboard lets you see him chasing last Thursday's severe storms that pounded communities with hail up to the size of tennis balls. Bryson has been chasing storms for 19 years and Tim Lawson since 1989. He believes that having trained eyes in a storm is crucial for safety.
So I don't think they'll ever come up with the technology that can beat the eyes on the ground.
David Williams has been chasing for 11 years.
It's sort of a positive asset that Channel 2 has with storm chasers that are willing to go out there and report directly to them what they're seeing on the ground and giving them feedback.
People rely on us, you know, small communities, large communities. They rely on TV, they rely on us being out in the field, they rely on the information for to see if they need to go to shelter.
George Flickinger, 2 News works for you.
And I should mention that we have two other chasers that couldn't join us tonight, and that was Tim Lawson and John Hollingshead, who both had conflicts with work, but that's understandable. All right, so last Thursday, we want to look at some video here from last Thursday's chase. We want you guys to talk about what you were experiencing. This was mainly a hail event for us, but you also pointed out there was a lot of lightning. So as we go to the video here and you look at it, whoever sees it, if they recognize your video, why don't you talk about it? Here's Denton. Oh, Denton Sachs is another one of our chasers, and he's not with it. Derek, looks like you were almost driving right into the teeth of one of these storms. Where was this?
That was, I believe, Tahlequah.
Okay.
And that was when I had 3 hail cores come over the top of me, and that was the one that actually went through Fort Gibson and
All
left.
the flash flooding.
Right.
Oh, in Shakota, yeah, we had a lot of hail damage in Shakota thanks to the hail. All right, let's go back over to the Weather Center. Brittany is standing by, and she's got more questions from our viewers and our social media outlets. Brittany, what's the next question?
Yeah, we actually had some tweets at us, and Kristen would like to know what's been the best experience you've had chasing so far. Anyone can go.
All right, who wants to take that question? Best experience or worst? Which could be the best.
What do you define
I guess
as
I'll go ahead and
best?
throw that out. It was George answering.
Okay, yeah. What do we define as best? I guess closest experience, scariest experience.
I guess for
Tornadoes
me,
or just
I've
severe
never
weather?
had a scary experience. If you start getting scared, then you're too close to the storm, or you're in the wrong area. So, try to position yourself where you're going to be staying safe, so that you don't have to worry about the storm rolling on top of you. As far as how close, there's actually a time about 2 years ago. I was actually near Dina Silk's hometown of Alva, Oklahoma, and I actually ended up sitting on a U.S. highway, and I was actually between 2 tornadoes. There was one tornado which was coming at us but weakening, and then there was another tornado a couple of 100 yards away which had just formed in front of us, and that one, so actually we were in the middle. The one tornado coming at us dissipated, then the other one formed and went on the other side of us, and we actually watched it rip apart a barn, and we were close enough to where we could hear parts of the barn, parts of the metal bending and tearing, but we were a safe enough distance away to where we weren't in danger.
Wow. All right. Well, Denny, you have a story like that? Something similar?
One thing that sticks out in my mind, maybe 4 years ago, I warned some workers at a Sonic up near Dale City where they need to take shelter and everything if a tornado come by or came through and everything. And 2 hours later, a tornado came through. They took my advice and they were safe. And they later on caught me and thanked me for giving them that
You saved
advice,
lives
you know.
that day. That's what it's
Yeah.
all about, storm chasing.
Exactly.
Derek, your best story might be, a scary story, the one where you got hit by lightning.
Actually 3 times live on the air. So
Wow.
yeah, it's 2 nights in cardiac ICU. It was interesting.
It's a dangerous hobby or profession
It
to
is.
choose.
It
yeah.
is. About the time you think, that's. I always stress when I see people that are not professional chasers that are standing out taking pictures of a storm coming in, and they don't realize how far out from the actual storm lightning can strike.
Reach, yeah.
And so I have my own story to draw on. So I try to warn them of that.
All right, let's go back over to Brittany Rainey. She's in the Weather Center with another question. Brittany?
Yeah, we have a question from Logan with an incredible last name that I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce, but he would like to know if you look at the weather each morning and pinpoint where you're going to be going chasing later that day.
All right, David, do you do that?
Yes, it's natural to go ahead and look at the models, look at the forecast, talk to other people, read forums, and try to nail down a target. And that will fluctuate during the day, depending on obviously what happens in the atmosphere. But people choose targets for different reasons. Some like to stay away from the crowds. Chaser convergence, which is a lot of chasers getting together in one place, has become a little bit of a problem. So there's a lot of factors to take in. But yeah, you look at model data, you look at the terrain, and then you decide where you're going to go, and then things change throughout the day.
You guys ready to have your mind blown? Okay, let's go to George Flickinger. Okay, George, how many tornadoes have you seen?
You know, that's often debatable because sometimes we've been looking at a tornado and then it produces all these smaller vortices around it, and you're kind of wondering, okay, do I count that? Do I count that? There's been a few days in which I've seen as many as 10 tornadoes on one day. How
Did you tell me 70 once? More than 70 or more than that?
probably more, probably somewhere in there, over 50.
Oh, wow. That is.
We'll say 50 to 100.
That is
Yeah,
a lot.
you sometimes, you'll have your main tornado, but then do you count like the smaller ones around it?
Well, I guess some people would for sure. I think so. All right. And anybody? Are you guys over 10? I mean, there's a lot of downtime when you're chasing. I mean, you know, I think I've seen 2 tornadoes in my entire 25-year weather career, and I've chased in helicopters and things like that for television stations. And you chase and chase, and those storms don't produce a thing. So yeah, there's a lot of down hours people don't understand.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the thing.
definitely.
Yeah.
A lot of down hours.
Yeah. All right, let's go back over to the Weather Center. Brittany, another question?
Yes, on Twitter, Kristen would like to know, what is your favorite gadget that you use while chasing the storms?
Oh, I like that. Got a gadget?
I would just have to say the you know, the internet. You know, it's always a challenge when you don't have internet service and you don't have a live radar, or you don't have streaming capabilities when you've got a tornado on the ground and you're in that terrain that David was talking about, that, you know, northeastern Oklahoma. So that's I think my favorite gadget, because twice we've had situations where we've driven into tornadoes.
And Denny, anything?
Smartphone.
Smartphone.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it. I like
You got
it.
your internet, you got your phone, so right there, that's my favorite.
All right, well, guess what? These guys are instrumental in getting us the information that you need to stay safe. But we have another tool that's just as important. It's our Storm Shield weather app, and it has more than 100 severe weather situations in which you can receive alerts via voice and push notification. Taft Price is going to show us how the Storm Shield works. He's going to walk us right through it. Taft?
And the Storm Shield app is going to come in handy for you during severe weather season and really all times of the year. Now, it's going to have the things that you're used to seeing on the app. It's going to have the radar to let you know exactly where those storms are located, but it also has other features as well. You're going to be able to see the storm outlooks. Also, storm safety tips going to be on there as well. You can also take a look at the local forecast, school closings. You can also have a way to send in those weather photos across the area. Now, something we want to talk about is the specifics. You can do several things with the Storm Shield app, which really is going to help you out. First of all, you can put in your current location. I've put in KGRH TV, so when you put that location in, anytime there's a watch, there's a warning, any kind of significant severe weather alert, it is going to go off. So you're always going to stay safe in a location. But you notice there's other locations as well. What if you have friends or family that live in Broken Arrow, say in Dallas or Chicago? You can put in their locations as well. Anytime there's a severe weather alert for that location, it's going to go off. So you're going to be able to keep your friends and family safe and let them know about the severe weather headed into their area. What about travelers? What about if you want to go vacationing with the kids? Well, perfect as well. You can take the Storm Shield app with you. You can put in a location like Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and it's going to go with you. So if there are any severe weather alerts for that location, it's going to go off. So it's going to be very, very handy for you. And the final thing, if the power goes out at your home or you're away from the house and maybe you're out running some errands, you can see our live stream of our severe weather coverage right there inside the Storm Shield app.
Yeah.
All right, so the big question is, how do you get the Storm Shield weather app? It's simple. All you have to do is search Storm Shield in iTunes or Google Play. The app is available for Apple and Android products, and it costs just $4.99. That's less than $5, people. All right. You know that for sure.
A bargain.
All right. I'm sure Brittany has another question by now on Facebook or Twitter, or maybe even Instagram. Brittany, anything?
We do. Dan Lee has a very practical question. He wants to know if storm chasers have higher insurance rates for their auto.
Oh, well, tell us, guys. Do you?
I don't.
I don't. I have had higher insurance rates when I've been out on big storm chases and lost a couple windshields. But
Okay.
that's gone down though.
Yeah.
I'm older now.
You're older now. You're supposed to be wiser too.
Counts me out. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, let's go back to George Flickinger. I want to ask George a question since he's joining us this evening. And George, when you're going out and you're going to be chasing a storm, what's the number one thing that's in the back of your mind when you're going out on the chase that day?
I don't know if I could just narrow it down to one thing, because I've had the biggest headaches that I've ever had have occurred from storm chasing. I normally don't get headaches, but I do when I'm storm chasing because there's just so much going on. Number one thing is that, well, if I had to rank it, would simply be safety. That I don't do anything crazy to endanger myself or anyone else that's out there. So for me, number one, it's safety. And then number two, get pictures, get video of the storm, then let you know at the TV station what's going on so that our viewers can be informed.
All right, so George is talking about getting pictures, getting information back to the television station. As storm chasers, is that your number one priority?
Oh,
And are you
absolutely.
thinking about the people at home that need to know this information?
Oh, you bet. I mean, it's not just, our families we live in this area, so we want to get information back for everyone's families. I mean, I was on a storm chase in Little Kansas last year when the tornado that hit Broken Arrow was less than a quarter mile from my own house. So, it's
personal
It's
then.
personal. The whole area is personal. We all have family that live here, whether it's aunts, uncles, wives. So it is personal. It's a very personal thing for all of us.
And Denny, we've seen you get sometimes really close to storms. So, and the information that you give us is so vital because we're then telling people you need to take shelter, and we can get it down to a very specific area. Is that something that are you thinking about that? Is that part of your focus? Narrow that warning down?
Yeah, exactly, Brett. I mean, I try to get as close as possible, but still be safe because I want to be able to refer back to you or tell you guys so you can get warnings out that, yeah, it is tennis ball size hail or it is 85-mile-an-hour winds. So if you're kind of sitting on the edge of the storm, I don't want to guess. I want to exactly say what I'm seeing. So, yeah, I get a little close, and I do that just so I can get a more accurate deal of the storm. So.
All right, let's go back over to the Weather Center, and Brittany's probably got another question here. Brittany Rainey in the Weather Center right now. Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, actually on Twitter, Ben Campbell would like to know what's the toughest experience that you guys have had out in the field. Have you ever gotten a flat tire or anything along those lines, gotten stranded, anything like that?
I haven't never gotten flat, but my last year in the El Reno tornado on Interstate 40, traffic came to a standstill. I was stuck right in traffic along with everyone else. That's probably been the most frustrating I've ever been.
Okay.
Because I couldn't get out of the traffic. I couldn't get out of the way of the tornado, as quick as I wanted to. But everything was, going to work out. I knew it would. But that's been my frustration. Is more people that try to become storm chasers and not really know. So
I was going to say, we were talking about that earlier,
Right.
the number of chasers out there that maybe aren't as qualified as you guys to be out there.
Oh,
Is
definitely.
that goes against safety? I mean, it even
Right.
puts you in harm's way, but it puts other people in harm's way.
Oh,
it puts
definitely.
them in harm's way.
You bet. And not only them, but it actually puts the people that, in the area that they're chasing. I mean, if their vehicle gets picked up and tossed, is it going to land on someone else's vehicle? I mean, there's so many variables, and that happened.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, it kind of inhibits rescue crews from getting into the area. Ambulances, fire trucks, police. I mean, once the convergence is there and a tornado hits the town, then the emergency crews can't get in to help anyone because there's so much traffic.
Yeah.
you
George,
know.
George is a longtime chaser in Oklahoma. How have you seen this escalate?
There are definitely, it seems like every year there's more folks out than there were in the past. And there was an instance a couple of times I can remember in which I could not get, I was chasing the storm and I was trying to relay reports back to the TV station, but it was almost like a line of cars. Like there would be one chaser who knows what he's doing, and then literally 30 cars behind him, and it was almost like stop and go traffic on the middle of the road because everybody's just out sightseeing. And there's so many folks out there like that now to where it interferes with those of us who are trying to get out meaningful information.
All right, thanks, George Flickinger, who's joining us via Skype tonight. Hey, before we get to the top of the hour, I want to tell you something about that we've got really cool coming up. It's another way that we're working for you to keep you safe this severe weather season. We're giving away a 4-foot by 6-foot above ground safe room. Just go to kjrh.com/contest, click on the safe room giveaway, and we've just opened the contest for entries. But you have until April 24th to enter. So don't delay. This is the second safe room that we've given away. Brian Oleschlager of Broken Arrow won the first one last November, and he said when Southern Safe Rooms installed it in his garage that it's something he and his family will definitely use.
My wife was very relieved. I'm pretty excited. It's a good deal. We were looking at getting one anyways, so this just helped us along a little bit sooner.
His wife had encouraged him, and they bolted it right to the garage floor. So and it can withstand up to 2,500 pounds of force, winds up to 250 miles an hour. It's a safe structure to be in. All right, let's go back to the Weather Center. Brittany Rainey is there taking questions from you via Twitter and Facebook. Brittany.
Page telling you about that safe room giveaway, and we asked you guys how you stay safe, and we got a couple of pretty interesting comments. One just said that they go to the interior hallway, they take the pillows, blankets, and they take their daughter's mattress and put it over them. That's a great way to stay safe. But one of our viewers said that they have nowhere to hide, so beer and prayers, and my oldest son to help calm her down. And others, they duck and cover like they taught them in grade school in the 70s. And also, some of you said that you stay near the TV to hear the alerts, and you don't have to stay near the TV. You can just download that Storm Shield app, take it to your safe place, and then when we're on the air telling you to take shelter, you can be in your shelter and still see us talking about the storms to help keep you safe. But we did get a question or a comment asking what if you get a lot of close calls, or if that only happens infrequently. So how does that work when you're out there? Are you constantly getting into those close calls, or is that just once every 5 years?
Is that reality TV? Does reality TV make it look like there's a lot more close calls than there are?
We talked about this earlier, is I think that that's the misconception, that the reason we have so many people out there that are armchair chasers is because there's TV shows that glamorize it, and they make it look like every time you go out, you're going to be on a tornado. That's not the case. I mean, I've had several close calls. Denton Sachs and I actually had a tornado go across the hood of the truck, and that was on I-44 3 years ago. And then the Pawhuska tornado, we were on the north side of the tornado that was on the ground. And we actually have video that's on my Facebook page that one of the trees actually gets pulled out of the ground about 300 yards behind us. So yeah, I mean, it's not in every time that we go out, we see a tornado or we see anything. There's times that we go out on a slight risk or even a moderate risk day, and we're watching blue sky.
Wow.
Or prairie dogs.
True story. You did do that.
Yes, I did.
In Texas, right?
It was real close to Texas. It was south of Lawton. That's correct.
Let me bring George Flickinger back into this conversation. Brittany was talking about some of those people. They didn't know where to go. So where would you recommend? Say someone doesn't have a safe room. They don't have a basement. Where would you recommend that they go if a tornado warning has been issued for their county, for their city?
What I would do, I would plan ahead, because when we are having severe thunderstorms, normally a couple of days in advance, we're going to let you know that there's at least a chance of severe weather. So what I would do, I would make friends with someone who lived nearby who had a sturdier structure, and just called them up and said, hey, if there's a tornado warning issued, or if there's a bad storm coming, can I come take shelter in your home? Or wherever their safe place is. So I would find a friend, make friends with someone who has a stronger place to ride out a storm. And basically, and this is the same thing that I tell children. Just when I'm speaking to school kids, that's when you need to buddy up with them and go ride out the storm with them.
All right. So George says, make a friend, make sure they've got a safe place to go if you don't have a safe place to go. We have time for one more question, so let's go back over to the Weather Center. Brittany Rainey has been taking the questions that you have sent in to Twitter and Facebook. And Brittany, you got one more for us?
Yes, we do. We have another great one. I think this is really cool. How rapidly has the equipment for storm chasers improved since you first began storm chasing? Because I know even just since I've been in the business, the weather equipment that I've seen at the stations has changed significantly. So how have you seen your chasing equipment change?
David, you want to field that one?
Basically, there's so much moment-to-moment data that you can carry with you in your vehicle now. And my start was a little bit different, because when I first started going, I just tried to create my target, go out there and not use equipment and just try to do my best as sort of like an old-timey kind of chaser would have done back in the day. But that didn't work
Derek?
till they were right.
We started with charts. We started with actual charts from the National Weather Service. Laid them on. I've got pictures
And
of
you
us.
didn't have iPhones 27 years ago.
No, we didn't have
You
phones.
you didn't have phones. So
We
you
didn't have
took a
cell
picture
phones.
and
we would come to the station
and download it.
do
Denny,
that.
was similar to that?
No, I kind of grew up later than the weather charts. I started out with just a police scanner, a video camera,
So you had a video camera at least.
you know,
Yeah.
but no laptop, and
And-
that's all I had.
And now we got streaming video and
That's it.
advanced
HD.
The warnings, I was told once that the warnings before the advent of Doppler radar were 20 minutes after the storm touched down sometimes.
exactly.
Right.
And now it's up to an hour in advance. Yeah.
Catoosa is one of the prime examples of that.
Yeah, so
you
I mean,
know.
technology has come a long, long way.
You bet.
Derek Massengale, David Williams, Denny Bryson, and George Flickinger. Thanks for joining us tonight, George. Thanks for staying up late.
It's past my bedtime.
I know.
I hit the sack, and so I can be bright and pretty tomorrow morning at 5.
At 5 a.m. right here on
you
2
go.
News Today. All right, thanks for joining us, and thank you for joining us here on our special web chat with our elite team of storm chasers on KJRH.com. You have a safe spring. We will be here making sure, all of us, that you are staying safe with Storm Shield radar and, of course, our severe weather safety and our Storm Shield app. Have a great evening, everyone.